Welcome back to Track versus Track for another Beatles Death-Match. This time it is, Matt's holding them both, Meet the Beatles versus With the Beatles. Same picture, one has a little bit of a bluish tinge to it. One has blue Meet the on it, but there's quite a bit else, well not quite a bit, but there are other differences. One, this is what we got in the States, Meet the Beatles. And then With the Beatles. This is my old CD from high school. I grow up. I listened to this one a lot, and then I picked up this one recently. I think as a kid, I knew that there was something called Meet the Beatles and something called With the Beatles, but I didn't realize their connection. How about you, Matt? What relationship, if any, do you have with these?
Funny enough, I grew up with the Beatles records that my dad owned. They were the Capitol label because he was a good old Iowa boy, and he had like all of them, but he didn't have this one.
Oh.
I knew the songs though because my mom had a briefcase of 45s that had a bunch of singles on it. So just a quick little background about these two albums. This is the second UK release. This is With the Beatles, of course. Meet the Beatles is like kind of a Frankenstein monster. It's tracks from With the Beatles and then 45s that were released on their own in the UK and in America. So, you know, people had to double dip to get this, which the 45 market was a lot stronger than the 33 and a third market in the United States. And, you know, partly because, and I mentioned this in the last Beatles video, that 33 and a thirds were just expensive, and the Beatles really were targeting, you know, the teen base, the youth base. So I think it was hard to justify, I'm going to buy this album and I already own half the songs on 45s, but nonetheless, this was the one that people got in the United States. It wasn't until 1988 when they did the CD campaign that, unless people had bought the import in America, but this didn't even exist in the UK. This is nothing. This is canon now, right? And so this is more of just
if you look at official discographies, Please Please Me, and then this. And when we talked about Please Please Me, one of the reasons we did it against Past Masters is that it is kind of a hodgepodge and not an like when they went into the studio with this in mind, correct? It's not like here are some singles and then we'll have you do some covers and then we'll put it out. Beatles, you're hot. You're the hot new thing. Come in, record your first or your second album, but first with purpose, intent. Mm-hmm. Though it's not quite the albums like we come to know. Of course, there's still quite a few covers between the two of these. Again, Matt and I have been trying not to look to see the order, the track orders, because what we do is we take track one versus track one. Will this determine which album is better? Who got a better deal, US and UK? Probably not, because it's all up to the luck of the draw, but it gives us a context in which to talk about it, and it's, you know, kind of fun to see. Maybe this one, because it is a hodgepodge, is better than this. Yep. We shall see. Matt, do you want to pick your pony? Which one do you want to read the tracks off of?
I'll be the British guy. I'll be the UK guy. So since you've got that
I just
beautiful
drew that
Meet
in the
the
trash.
Beatles, you've got that beautiful Meet the Beatles LP there. You need to be able to use that as a prop. You know what though?
This is well loved, but it is
as I'm
in great
looking
shape.
at the back here, and I knew this already. I don't know how many tracks are on this album because I don't actually listen to this. I'm not familiar with this, and for the purpose of this exercise, we have decided not to look at it so that it would be kind of a surprise.
There are 2 additional tracks on With the Beatles that aren't on Meet the Beatles. And so we've decided to keep it 12 to 12. We are cutting off the last track of each side. So we'll get to what those are. Maybe we'll talk about them because maybe that is, you know, for one thing, for value, already there's 2 extra songs. So With the Beatles is probably a better bargain than what we got in the US. But are those tracks any good? I don't know. I haven't looked. But track 1 is one we did talk about a little bit brief. Track 1 on Meet the Beatles. It's one we talked about briefly last time because it is on Past Masters. It is I Want to Hold Your Hand. Good song. Has hand claps in it. Could be a hard one to beat. One of their signature tunes, I would say. Everyone knows it. Everyone loves it. But what's it against in the UK side?
So it's on track 1 on With the Beatles is It Won't Be Long. Pretty awesome song, in my opinion. Not as strong as the opener on Please Please Me, but very underrated song. I like the interplay between the vocals. It won't be long, yeah, 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 yeah. Great harmonizing throughout. It's got a nice upbeat tempo.
To you.
Yeah, I really like the song, and I mean,
I do like that song too. Is it an I Want to Hold Your Hand though? It is not. So I give that one to the U.S. I don't know. I shouldn't call it to the U.S., but there's a reason there's an exclamation point here, because the U.S. love to meet the Beatles. Yeah, I give it to Meet the Beatles. I give it to Meet. All right. Yeah. You go first. I realize the UK should be going first. It was released first. So what is track 2?
Track 2, we've got All I've Got to Do. Great song. Really like it.
Yeah.
Another kind of underrated, not talked about song. Ballad. John's got great vocals on it. Whenever I want to kiss you, yeah. All I got to do. And I love the Paul harmony on top. Really cool song.
Yeah, every time I see the title, I think it's going to be I'll Be There, or All You Got to Do Is Call and I'll Be There. All I've got to do, all you've got to do. But yeah, this is the slower one versus I Saw Her Standing There. I'll Never Dance with Another Ooh. Which again, I mean, we'll get to talk about, I mean, I think it's just coming on. This one's coming on a little stronger, I think. It has 2 significant songs first. I like I Saw Her Standing There more than All I've Got to Do. Again, an underrated song. One many people probably don't know. But, Meet again for me.
And, you know, yeah, same for me. And that song, of course, is the opening song of Please Please Me. So, so you got one song from Past Masters 1 to start off the album with I Want to Hold Your Hand, and then I Saw Her Standing There is the opening track off of Please Please Me, and those are 2 bangers. Yeah, it's kind of unfair, really.
Maybe, yeah, they just wanted to get the hits out of the way with the U.S. version, where maybe the width is more properly constructed. You know, they're building to those songs. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, there's going to be some redundancies. So the 2 songs that I mentioned on here will also appear on here too, but just in a different order. So they might, those 2 songs may come back and win against, you know,
very likely
draw.
What's track 3 on With?
Track 3, we've got All My Lovin'. Paul's kind of opening statement on this. Yep. And, you know, close your eyes and just his bobbing of the head. I think that's kind of where he first got to be known for that, you know, on the Ed Sullivan Show. They play the song in the Ed Sullivan Show. Great song, great vocals. All my lovin', the oohs in the background, that bridge. Awesome song.
I really like All My Loving. I also really like track 3 here. It's This Boy. Ooh. Yeah, almost barbershop. But it's not an All My Loving. So I'm going to go with on this one. I do like the harmonies of This Boy, though. It is a good showcase of that style of Beatles song, and it's a sad song. Like I was talking about, Please Please Me. A lot of them were songs that they were used to playing in the club. This would have been a slow dance one, but I am going with All My Loving. How about you, Matt?
Oh boy, this is a photo finish. You know what? I'm going to go with This Boy because of the bridge. When John goes, oh, and this boy, and you get these oohs in the background. So it starts off, you know, the verse is like 3-part harmony, barbershop, like you said. But that bridge, when he goes into that, and then George and Paul go into these, you know, 2-part harmony oohs, that part of the song is like spiritual to me.
This Boy for you. It's gonna get hard to keep track of where we are. I'll do what's on Meet next. It's one we've talked about. It Won't Be Long. Featured in the 2000s era Beatles jukebox musical Across the Universe. As I don't know if you're familiar with that film.
I saw it once. I vowed to never see it again. I don't. I
This
got a
is the
lot of
cheerleader.
movies here. That one I don't have.
This is the cheerleaders talking about. It's kind of the Summer Nights track of that film.
Oh, so convoluted. Like, let's base a movie around Beatles songs, and oh, I think this is a good time to do "Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite." What does this have to do with the movie? Nothing. I don't know. I don't even know if that song's in there, but it seems so convoluted.
It is. I think Bono plays Mr. Kite. No,
Oh.
no. Yeah, never mind. The fact
Well, there you
that
go.
Bonobos is in it. Yeah, It Won't Be Long versus what?
George's debut solo credited song, "Don't Bother Me." Interesting story about this song. So he was trying his hand at songwriting. Obviously, he had two awesome mentors, right? In John and Paul, and he was feeling quite ill. They were on tour, they were in the hotel, and he recorded this song when he was like on medication, the stresses of the being on the road, he was really bogged down. So it has that very it has that very almost like recovering from a cold. It just really, laid back, and he's like, "Don't bother me, I'm not feeling well." That's kind of the impetus behind the song. I don't like George Beatles solo songs a lot, particularly in the early middle period, but I do like this song. I think it's a great debut song for him. Do I like it better than "It Won't Be Long"? Hell no. Hell no.
I like the bridge of "Don't Bother Me,"
Yeah.
but George tracks, particularly with the Beatles. I haven't gotten too much into the solo stuff. How old were they? Probably when they recorded this, early 20s, right?
I can tell you exactly how old they were because it says it on the back of my copy of.
Oh yeah, it does. George Harrison was 20. It says it on the back of this.
Yep.
He's writing songs like a 70-year-old man, like throughout the career of the Beatles. Like, "Don't Bother Me," "I Hate Taxes," yada yada yada. George was the grumpy Republican on the porch of the Beatles. I don't care for "Don't Bother Me," so it's got to be "It Won't Be Long." Right there. What is track 5 on with, Matt?
All right, track 5. "Little Child," "'Cause I'm so sad and lonely." Ugh, hate it. Hate the song. Least favorite song on this album.
It's also just another creepy one. Like, you can kind of get away with "She Was Just 17, you know what I mean." But when it's like little child, "I'm so sad and lonely." Yeah. It's all I've got to do on this end. We've already talked about it. It didn't win that one, but it wins against "Little Child" for me. So far, side one, shooting fire with only one vote against it so far, and it was mine. Closing off side one of Meet the Beatles. I know there's 2 more on with the Beatles. "All My Loving." Again, a track everybody knows.
But maybe I'll get some love this time. So track 6 off of With the Beatles is "Till There Was You," which is a ballad from The Music Man, which is written by the guy from my hometown, Meredith Wilson.
I was going to say, your hometown hero song.
So
I really like The Music Man, and I really like "Till There Was You."
Yeah.
I really like the Beatles' interpretation of "Till There Was You." Is it so in The Music Man? Is it sung by Harold Hill or is it by Marion the Librarian? That's what I was trying to remember.
Well, it's sung by Harold Hill, and I think there's a reprise where they sing it as like a duet.
Okay.
But this is kind of interesting because I'm going to pull this off the wall here. This is something that I'm quite proud of because a few years ago, my wife played in a Music Man. It was called like Music Man on Tour, but it wasn't really a full stage performance. It was Shirley Jones and her son, because Robert Preston, who played Harold Hill, is dead. Her son is David Cassidy, right?
Oh,
from the Partridge Family. But it wasn't David Cassidy. It was the other son, because I think
Sean Cassidy.
Yeah, I think that was it. But anyway, I didn't get his
like a
autograph.
TV producer.
My wife got my DVD autographed by Shirley Jones. So.
Oh wow.
And even says "To Matthew" from Shirley Jones. So.
Ah. Robert Preston, you said, was the actor. I was thinking it was the guy from
Yep.
My Fair Lady, but it's not. But he's another not whatever you call it when you say the words and not sing.
Yep.
So Beatles are
Stretched
better
out.
than that. Yes.
Absolutely.
Why can't the English? That's not from that. That's from My Fair Lady.
Yeah, Rex Harrison.
Rex Harrison. There we go. I love it. I love that song, but it's All My Loving. So it has to go to All My Loving.
Absolutely. And, Till There Was You was also sung on Ed Sullivan, which a lot of kids, that grew up in the United States, that was their first exposure to the Beatles, was their performance on Ed Sullivan. And Paul does Till There Was You on that debut Ed Sullivan performance. One thing that always kind of irks me about the song, though, he goes, I never saw them ringing instead of saw. I hate how he sings the word saw, sar. Maybe he's just trying to be so Iowan-ish. I don't know.
What is the last? We're not ranking it, but what closes out side A on With the Beatles?
So we've got their cover of Please, Mr. Postman.
Okay. Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's a girl group song, right?
I don't have as much
Crystals?
problems of this as I did Boys, but
Right.
I still don't care for it.
Nah, it's a skipper for me. I know some people really like the way they sing it, but I don't like when the Beatles are like singing misappropriated music, particularly from like girl groups. It's strange. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense to me. I've never liked that song. And I do know that some people think it's like one of their best covers from the early years. I'm like, all right, they sing it all right, but it's not an appropriate choice of song.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if I love the song. Even the
No,
do
I
you
don't.
remember the name? Yeah, even I don't even know what the original group was. But
I think it's like the Crystals or the Chiffons or the Ronette. It was one of those groups.
yeah.
It has that very Phil Spector-y sound. So I think it was a Phil Spector produced girl group, but he did like 3 or 4 girl group like productions.
Well, it easily would have lost against All My Loving too. So let's just flip it to side B. This album, previously owned by TD Todd, by the way. So TD, if you're watching, thanks for selling your record. You kept in good shape as well. Side 2, Cranky George, Don't Bother Me.
Ooh, I like how this is going to shape up because we got a George cover,
Oh,
Roll Over Beethoven, Chuck Berry.
I don't care for this one either.
I don't like this cover. Obviously the opening guitar riff, Chuck Berry, it's iconic. It sounds just like Johnny Be Good. I mean, every frickin' Chuck Berry introduction sounds like the introduction to Johnny Be Good, right? But George's voice on this song is crappy.
Yeah.
I'm actually giving it to Don't Bother Me this time.
Same here, because I do like how
Be the same.
yeah, there it is. I couldn't remember the words, so I was just gonna try and watermelon it, but
You'll always be the only girl for me.
that's the part I like.
Yeah, me too.
All right, easy win. I don't know. So track number 2 on side B is Little Child on Meet the Beatles. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't really like this song, but I hate Little Child. So I think it's going to be the first time where I'm actually going to, because it's been a clean sweep of Meet the Beatles for me.
It has been.
This is Hold Me Tight. Maybe the most forgettable Lennon-McCartney song ever. Like, it's so boring. It's not very good. It feels so right to hold me tight. It's nothing. It's nothing of a song, but it doesn't have that I'm so sad and like Little Child. I'm going to give it to Hold Me Tight, and I don't know if that song could really beat anything else, but I'm going with Hold Me Tight.
I was listening to Hold Me Tight this morning, and it is very repetitive. It's a very simple song, and I was like, if anyone else had recorded this, it would have been forgotten to time. If this was a Herman's Hermits track or something like that.
That little ending bit, where it has the call and response. So hold me close, tonight, it's you. Ooh. Yeah, it's a bad song, and I hate saying any Beatles song is a bad song, but Little Child is a god awful song. So
yeah,
but
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go against Little Child. I'm going to go with Hold Me Tight. So you voted for... Wait.
Hold Me Tight. I voted for Hold Me Tight as well. Nothing Revolution 9 beats Little Child for me.
Yeah. Yeah, hold me to. Here's the thing about this era of the Beatles, and I've noticed it listening to it this morning, is like this, like when people say, oh, the Beatles were just a boy band, this is the one that is kind of in that era because so many of the songs are them being pathetic. Like, oh, please love me. I'm unloved. Only you can. Like, they're begging the girl to love them. And if you've seen like any clip of Hard Day's Night or whatever, that was like the opposite of what the whole Beatle mania was about. It's like they all want him, and they all wanted him because they were so sensitive and just wanted to be held tight. And oh my gosh, I have to go with Hold Me Tight. Was Little Child a cover? Did we determine that?
No, that's an original. Little Child and Hold Me Tight are both Lennon and McCartney tunes. Not good ones.
Hold Me Tight gets another shot, but I'm going with it now too, and maybe I can vote against it later. All right, what's
you want to be able to vote against it? I know it's tough. It's hard to have that be a winner.
So, what's track 3 on side 2 over there?
All right, track 3 is Smokey Robinson cover. Smokey Robinson, the Miracles cover of "You Really Got a Hold on Me." I think it's a great cover. It's one of my favorite early Beatles covers. I mean, it ranks right up there for me with off of "Please Please Me, Twist and Shout." I mean, it's a ballad, but I think John just sings the hell out of it. I really do like this song. I remember my sister saying, it's just a stupid cover again. My sister didn't care about this album. I didn't really either, honestly. This ranks pretty low for the Beatles, but I always really liked "You Really Got a Hold on Me." Starts with harmonizing, and then John's got some great exposed vocals in it, and I like it.
Yeah, he's not as good as Smokey Robinson.
No, not even close. No, this is a poor man's version of the original, for sure.
Yeah, it's up against Till There Was You. So this gives me an opportunity to vote for Till There Was You, even though I agree it's an okay cover. But I prefer this. Can you really call it a cover, Till There Was You? It's not their song, but it's not famous by someone else. What's the difference between?
Show tune. Right?
It's a show tune. It's a standard at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Till There Was You on that one. But you are going with Smokey?
Sorry, Meredith. Yeah, I got to go with "You Really Got a Hold on Me." So that gives me a second point for with.
All right. I said we could do it again. Next on Meet the Beatles is "Hold Me Tight."
Yep. And that's
a
going to
little
go
trifle
up
of a song as discussed.
Song number 4 here, which is the Ringo vocal contribution. I wanna be your man, which of course the Beatles gave to the Rolling Stones, and it was like their first hit. I actually prefer the Beatles version over the Stones version, even though Stones version was the charting, single version. Don't really like the song though. Don't really like Ringo's voice. But I like it better than "Hold Me Tight." So I'm going to give it to "I Want to Be Your Man."
Yeah, same here. The only thing I like about Ringo vocals, not the only thing, but they're in my range. So when I'm trying to sing along, I actually can with "I Want to Be Your Man." So, and it's less than 2 minutes. Like so many of these songs are short. These are shorter than the Sex Pistols songs we did a couple weeks ago. All right, getting near the end of Meet the Beatles, with Meet the Beatles having a commanding lead. "I Want to Be Your Man." Yep. I Want to Be Your Man.
Yeah. Well, we just talked about that one, so it's going to go against the 5th track on side 2 here, which you can bleep this out if this doesn't follow YouTube code of conduct. But this song is a real. This is "Devil in Her Heart." It's a
okay. This is one of the ones I didn't. This is one of the ones I had to listen to because I didn't remember it very well.
So George takes 3 vocals on this album. I mean, that's another reason, another strike against this album. George has got "Don't Bother Me." He's got, and then he sings "Roll Over Beethoven," and he sings "She's Got the Devil in Her Heart." Oh God, it's awful. That is the worst cover I think they do on any album. Yeah, "I Want to Be Your Man" a million miles, a billion times over "Devil in Her Heart." It's a crappy tune.
Yeah, "I Want to Be Your Man" gets my vote as well. And we come to the end with the track. I mentioned there were two I didn't really know very well. Devil in Her Heart was one. Not a Second Time. Closes out the album. There's no writing credits on the back of mine. I think on the CD there is.
Yep, it's a Lennon-McCartney.
It's a Lennon-McCartney. That's what I wasn't sure of. Pretty good song, honestly, for being one that's kind of forgotten. I think it's okay, but it's also very forgettable. What's it up against? Just read off what both tracks were at the end of With the Beatles.
Well, Not a Second Time is where it's Not a Second Time versus Not a Second Time.
Okay, so that's a wash. So going down to the next one.
Their cover of Money. The best things in life are free. See, now for me, this is quite easy because I generally don't pick covers over originals. Not a Second Time, you're right, is not a terrible song. It's better than Hold Me Tight. It's better than Little Child. I think it's better than I Want to Be Your Man, honestly. It's a total dark horse song, but their cover of Money and John's vocals, I put just slightly below Twist and Shout. I mean, they're in the same place in the album. I think it's a great cover.
This starts with like some piano too, right? Or something?
The best things in life are free.
I've just never liked it. But you're right. On a pretty much a technical level, everything else, it's a much better song than Not a Second Time. I think Spinal Tap ruined this song for me. Because they have Give Me Some Money, if you're familiar with the movie Spinal Tap. Absolutely. And so every time I hear... Yeah, and knowing that these four dudes ended up being very, very rich, the song's always... But you're right, it's a cover. I've only given 3 votes to With the Beatles so far, so I'm going to go ahead and go with Money. It sounds like you are as well. But for surprising, I'm honestly surprised. Maybe it's just because of the order, it's just the way we do it, that Meet the Beatles crushed. Absolutely crushed With the Beatles. But this isn't an official record. So the 2 we cut out, or the 2 bonus tracks essentially, were Money.
We ended up cutting out Money, and we didn't end up cutting out Money because Not a Second Time appeared in the same order.
Yeah.
So we only ended up cutting Please, Mr. Postman.
So if you like those 2 covers, though, With the Beatles is probably a better song. But this one comes out hot and heavier. And if you're looking at it track by track, Meet the Beatles is dominant. However, we're not going to rank Meet the Beatles because that's not the official record. We're going to do a speed ranking really quick here. And we'll be right back. All right, we just did a speed ranking, and Matt has turned into George. Oh, he's showing off his With the Beatles souvenir blanket. Perfect for picnics.
Thanks, Grandma.
All right. And Matt and I also, while we were ranking independently of each other, determined that this isn't a great album. As much as there's a lot more I would put on the bottom than I would put on the top. So eventually, I know you've already done a ranking of all the Beatles albums, but if it's this versus Please Please Me, Please Please Me, 1,000 times. All right. Do you want to go first?
I can go first. Yep. Got Little Child, number 13, Devil in Her Heart. Number 12, Roll Over Beethoven. 11, Please Mr. Postman. 10, Hold Me Tight. 9, Till There Was You. 8, I Want to Be Your Man. 7, Not a Second Time. 6, Money. 5, You Really Got a Hold on Me. 4, Don't Bother Me. And I would say all those songs that I just mentioned off, everything but the top 3 are like 2-star or less songs. So now this is a huge jump up. Number 3, I've got All I've Got to Do. Number 2, All My Lovin'. And number 1, It Won't Be Long. Jacob, what do you got?
Quite a bit of overlap, honestly, except for on my bottom, I have Please, Mr. Postman, followed by Little Child, Devil in Her Heart, Roll Over Beethoven, Old Sourpuss comes in with Don't Bother Me. Hold Me Tight, Not a Second Time. Money, You Really Got a Hold on Me. All I've Got to Do. I Want to Be Your Man. And then my top 3, Till There Was You, cover making it very high. It Won't Be Long, and All My Loving. So,
Cool.
I'm actually kind of surprised how high Till There Was You was on there myself, but I like it. I like it a lot. All right, Matt, thanks for talking Beatles with me. I don't know what we're going to do the next it's Beatles for Sale and
Hard Day's Night comes next.
oh, Hard Day's Night and then Beatles for Sale, right?
Correct.
That might be a decent pairing of verses.
Yeah.
Or we could just rank them. I don't know. But we're going to talk Beatles sometime. But for Track versus Track, I'm Jacob, and that's Matt's blanket. Wishing you well. Thank you for watching.